I'm Chapter 3.
I'm 1,000 Words.
I'm Doc.
And we're the collective 3rd World.
Yeah, we met each other first through a mutual buddy of mine.
Yeah, it was my brother's friend.
Yeah, but it was through one of my buddies that knew him and his brother.
When we first met, you know, he was a little more antisocial.
I want to say maybe a year prior to that, I had been getting into a lot of trouble, and I got set up, and they jumped me, put me in the hospital. So I closed myself off to trusting people because I didn't know how that happened, and there were so many stories around it. So I started cutting a lot of people off that I felt that were like not real friends of mine, and I think that's how I started gaining real friends too, because the real ones stuck around.
We sat apart in the room like 12 feet.
I didn't trust people like that.
Yeah, so I would just hear these things, and I'm like, I would freestyle just like I was in timeout on a corner in the wall. I'm like, yeah, I can hear it, you know, I think I got this. And then he would just be, maybe for like a week almost.
We'll leave after chilling for like a couple hours. We'll leave and we'll, all right, cool, all right, see you later, and that was it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how serious he was about the music either, so.
I feel like we're like the senses, you know, like what we're trying to do is like, so my boy's the ears, I'm the voice, like, and he's the vision. So it's like you take one apart, you get one part of it, but when you put us collectively, like you get the entire story. And we have 3rd World, like what we have in common is heritage and like our ethnicity and the stories that which we come from. We all have different ones, but the ones that do come about collectively, I think the music that is meant for the people that are like us, they can gravitate towards, because I could get stories from him and then put them into the rhymes. I could get stories from him and put them into the rhymes. Like, I'm not telling my own story sometimes. Like, I try to channel things, and who better else than my brothers? And if it's for you, it's for you. And collectively, I think we're like the senses, you know?
When I knew, like, you know, like we're like different and stuff and all that, like all the radio is like talking about like drugs and stuff and all that, you know, and like we're just like, I mean, it's cool, yeah, like it's good, like it has a spot for it, like, you know, when you're like out, like, you know, in the club or whatever, you know, but when you're like in the radio and you hear all this stuff, like, you know, drugs and all this, and you're just like, that's crazy. Like, kids are hearing this. We gotta talk about like more positive, you know, like something different. It could like hit people, you know, and like motivate people or anything. There's more to the world than getting fucked up.
We just don't want to mislead people, you know, and we want to try to hit on topics that are either gonna touch somebody or change their mind, even if it's just a little bit, because there's so much of that going on that's gonna win most of the time, but there's still room for what we do.
Oh yeah. Money can't make me, and money can't shake me. If money talking funny, we break money and change things. I don't believe it,
I know when I first started, I was searching for something. What I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it. And as the music progressed, and as his art progressed, we started seeing like where we fit. And all these topics came to mind, like what are we really trying to say? Like, where do we fit? I made a paper of the top 10 Billboard charts since like the 1970s, I think, or 60s. Every song in the top had something to do with what was happening outside in the world. Like, you could tell what was happening. And somewhere in the 2000s, they got lost. Things got glorified. There's like, man, that's like the market crash happening. And why is everyone wearing platinum chains? Like, things did not equate to real life. And I think where we stand is like, he's lived a certain life and he's lived a certain life, and what we're trying to do is convey improvement on that. Like, no one's perfect, and we don't consider ourselves, but one thing that we're gonna do is be as real as we can in our direction and what we see.
What's not made like 100% organic, it fades fast. Like, you hear it and you hear it and you hear it, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, remember that one song? Like, it just goes away. Nothing lasts. There's no like landmark or a stamp like that you want to put out. I feel like if we're gonna put out work, it should be stamped so you could go back on it and you could listen to it again. It just never goes away, like some of those records that you listen to and you're just like, man, this record's still good. It's from the 70s, still just as good as when it came out the first time. And I just feel like that's important in music, because a lot of the music that's being made now, it's not like that, and it goes fast. So that's how we're gonna stand out. That's how our music's gonna show, like, as far as longevity. When we stamp our name on it and we put our name on it, we know that it's there to last.
3rd World, huh? My father came with $20 and clothes on his back. My mother limping home from work, I recorded all that. My brother pushed the working class and turned it to a lack. These images forever burned and always play back. Look, I don't got time to waste trying to be famous, cause I owe my folks my life, at least payment.
Touching back on the topic of making things, like if you look at the album cover of this project, like Welcome to Our World, you see it. I think we created something that, like, first off, Stefan Oriol blessed us with it's a photo outside of a protest of the largest detention center on the West Coast. So that itself is already legendary. And then we have Doc's collaboration in there, and like it's time telling. Like if you take each piece around there, we're trying to say something before we say something.
We don't want to box ourselves in, right? So we're gonna speak on what we feel is that needs to be spoke on at that time. But we also like to make fun music and good, you know what I mean? But what we're not gonna do is mislead people and bring them into a life that we're not actually living. We're gonna tell the truth, and we're gonna make music based on how we do things. And if you gravitate to that, cool. If not, there's millions of different people out there, and that's why music's subjective. But yeah, I think that's our main goal, is to make what's true to us and have fun doing it. There are songs out there where you'll find where one song saved a whole bunch of different kids' lives, and it's because if you like that person enough, you're gonna follow them. You're gonna want to know what they do, and if you're showing them that this is what it's gonna be, and you're living a certain life, they're gonna want to mimic that. Same thing as far as like seeing Michael Jordan. You want to mimic that. Kids that come from certain different types of neighborhoods, those are their superstars. You know, those are their superheroes. That's what they want to be. So it's important, if you're playing that role, to put the good and the bad, but make sure that like you're doing right, because it's a powerful thing. Music's powerful, art's powerful. And what people, yeah, you don't know who's watching, and there's a lot of people that don't care because they're self-centered and they care about themselves, and that's why you see a lot of stuff that's going on nowadays, and none of those people care. They care about getting their bag, getting their money, and going home, but they don't care how many kids, or they're gonna do what they're gonna do because they want that clout on Instagram. They want those likes, they want those followers, and that's all that matters, because that's what's gonna get them paid.
We've been living different things that we definitely need to talk about. He's leveled up, and I'm only looking to level up. So it's like, as long as we have that feeling of, all right, next level, we'll continue to create. And as far as, like, we know how digital space is, but that's how fast information goes now. So back to what he was saying is, like, misinformation can be led just as quickly. So our job, I think, as artists, or what we're trying to accomplish, is not just, even if we are misinformed, like, we'll tell you we're misinformed. Let me get this right. And that's how I think, that's how we're gonna move. Now, I love my brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we stuck around, and like I said, time tells you the truth. Like, that's the true test, time. And these are my brothers, man. And with them and with the music, I stand in front of anybody with it.
I'm Chapter 3.
I'm 1,000 Words.
I'm Doc.
And we're the collective 3rd World.